Hey everyone, it's Joy here. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a really fabulous day. So this video is going along with ReverseConfetti's blog hop. So I will have that information listed on my blog so you can head over there. So I'm using the Springtime Sentiments and Big Sun die for my project. I am making a slimline card, and so I decided for my background I would use an embossing folder. So I'm using Spellbinder's Geo Screen embossing folder just on some white cardstock, and I'm going to trim this down to 8 1/4 by 3 1/4. So just to have my big old paper trimmer out here getting that nice and trimmed down. And I will have a white slimline card base, which is 8 1/2 by 3 1/2. Now this is the Big Sun die. I have die cut this 3 times from white cardstock. I'll show you that die here in a second, and 3 of the center pieces. I'm kind of turning these into flowers, if that makes sense, instead of a sun. So we're going to do some ink blending. These small circles that are going in the center will be yellow. So I'm using Simon Says Stamps Lemonade and Sunbeam. So I have the lemonade here in the center, and then I'm going to put Sunbeam on the outside edges. I'm just using a small blender brush because I feel like I just have more control with these smaller ones. And being that I'm adding a little bit of a darker color on the outside edge, I kind of want to keep it this way. When I look at the end result, it's really kind of blended, so you could probably just get away with one color. I probably should have gone to the darker color and the lightest color in this little color collection from Simon Says Stamp. This is their Positively Saturated inks. So now that those are done, I'm going to clean up my Waffle Flower Mini Stencil Mat. I am absolutely in love with this mat for ink blending and stenciling. It is fantastic. Okay, so my first colors that I'm going to be using are Tropic and TIDEPOOL. I'm going to go dark here in the center, and then I'm going to work my way out with the lighter color, which is TIDEPOOL. So I'm going to just lightly ink blend these little rays of sun, even though I'm kind of turning this into flowers in my mind just a little bit. So I left the tips very, very light. I'm going to do that same color thing with the other 2 sun die images. This is Cantaloupe and Melon. I'm going to use Cantaloupe first here in the center, which is so pretty. And then I will use Melon to go out a little bit to the tips of this sun die, which is going to make it look a little bit lighter. I like having that kind of variation even when I'm ink blending. I like to have a darker and lighter area. For me, I just love things like that. So here is that lighter color, the Melon, and just lightly blending that out. Okay, so for the last one, oh no, I'm sorry. That was Blush and Cheeky. I apologize. Blush and Cheeky. This is Cantaloupe and Melon. I apologize. So the darkest color was Blush. The lighter color was Cheeky. Now this is Cantaloupe, which is darker in the center, and then Melon will be the lighter one going on the outside edge. Now this does look a little bit blotchy, but once all of that ink soaks into the cardstock, it's going to be fine. And I'm also going to be having that yellow circle right in the center. I'm using some Neenah Classic Crest Solar White cardstock. This is the 80 pound, I believe. Yes, no, this is the 110. That's what I'm using for these background. I'm going to spritz these yellow dots really quick and then just dab it off with a paper towel. I'm going to add some foam tape behind the yellow circles and behind that turquoise sun die. I will keep wanting to call it a flower, but it is a sun die. And that one will be popped up with some foam tape. I am going to have these obviously hanging off the edge because these are so big, but when you trim off all the excess stuff, it is so pretty and so, I don't know, it's just so pretty. And I love having texture on the background with that embossing folder. So I wanted an all white background, but I love having a little bit of texture. So using an embossing folder is fantastic. Now that that's adhered down, I will just going to trim off all those little excess pieces. And then when I flip it over, you guys will really be able to see how this looks. And I just think it is such a fun, easy, simple, quick card to create. Sometimes I like really quick cards, even though I tend to kind of do longer ones. Sometimes it's fun just to have a really quick, fast go-to, and it's just different. Okay, so this is the Springtime Sentiments, and it says Easter Blessings. So I've got my white cardstock in my Misty. I'm going to prep it with an anti-static powder tool. I'm going to ink it up with some clear ink and use some gold embossing powder. I do have my heat tool on so it gets nice and hot. And then like I said, I'm just going to do some gold embossing. You could just do some black ink. That would be really nice too. That's kind of a pop of color, but I wanted to keep it just soft. So that's why I'm going with the gold embossing powder. You could also use one of those inks and stamp it up that way and have one of those inks that you blended with as your sentiment ink. So now I'm going to adhere this to my slimline card base, and I will add my sentiment with foam tape, of course, because I love my sentiments to have foam tape. And I'm just going to center that between the sides and then just pop that down. And so then I brought in some green seafoam pearls because, again, in my mind I'm thinking of these as flowers, and I thought the green would kind of represent the leaves. So that's where my brain was. So I'm just going to add those around and use my Barely Art liquid glue to adhere those down. Now I do want to remind you guys, if you like my stuff, if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell and click all so you don't miss a video. Definitely comment because I love chatting with you guys. Like and share with your crafty friends. I really appreciate that. And this card is finished. I love how quick this was to put together, and to me it's just so pretty, and the color combinations are obviously endless. Any color combination you want to use. So thank you guys again so very much for watching and supporting me. I adore all of you. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you, and I will be back with another video.